The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
And just this past week, I heard a story from Rabbi Besser that I feel has to be shared. There was a young couple who was going through, unfortunately, some difficulties in their marriage. And they asked to come to speak to Rav Shmuel Kamenetsky, Shalita. He's the Rosh Yeshiva in Philadelphia. The rabbi says, sure, of course, no problem. Come meet me at this and this time. They come to the house. And as they come in, the rabbi says, listen, I know we're supposed to speak now about Shalom Bayit, He says, but is there any way I could speak to you? I think maybe only the husband turned up. He says, is there any way that we could have this meeting instead of in my house, in the car? There's a patient I need to visit in the hospital. He says, okay, no problem. The rabbi gets in the car. They're talking about this man's issue, trying to figure out how to solve the problem, trying to give him his best advice. He arrives at the hospital. He says, I'm really sorry for having to interrupt the meeting. It's okay, I'm just going to go and see this patient, and I'll be back as soon as I can. Anyway, the rabbi goes to see the patient. After a short while, he comes back downstairs, and he says to the man, okay, I saw the patient. The man says, what do you mean, you ready to go? He said, the patient that I had to come see was my wife. And she just passed away. And the man is like, And he says, and now, my obligation for Shalom Bayit has come to a close. Let's begin to work on yours. The story just blew my mind. First of all, how in the world could someone think of anyone but themselves at a moment of such great personal loss? How can he do that? How can he carry on the conversation? How can he not roll up in a ball on the floor and cry? How can he not want to be taken home? How easy would it be to say to this person, I really can't do this right now. I'm so sorry. I'm sure you'll understand. Would he have understood? Of course he would have understood. Of course he would have said to him, please, Rabbi, I'll come back another time. Don't worry about it. I'll come back after everything's over. Please take this time for yourself. You have to understand. That's why the rabbi didn't tell him when they got in the car, I need to go see my wife to say goodbye. He told him, I need to go see a patient in the hospital. So the man would feel free to share his problems. He knows that his marriage is on the rocks, the rabbi. He knows if he says to him what's really going on, he's not going to share. He's not going to be able to help him. He's not going to be able to save his marriage. But what greatness of spirit are we witnessing in Rav Shmuel Shalita? His wife passed away this week, so the story is fresh. My friends, think for a moment of the compassion, of the space you have in yourself to think about someone else. And for most of us, what do? We spend all of our emotional capital on our own stuff. And how much do we have left for someone else? A couple of minutes. If someone starts to tell you their life problems, you're like, he kept me there for 15 minutes. That's how sometimes we react. If someone asks for something, you tell yourself, I had to give him this amount of money, the guy kept calling me. When we see the Gedolim, sometimes we think we're very far away from that, and we are. There's no doubt that is not something that you and I could ever achieve, maybe. But at the same time, maybe we could do a little bit of that. Could we think of someone else when we have a lot on our minds? Could we say to ourselves, even though I have so much going on, this person also has a tremendous amount. Can I give him a little bit more of myself?
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org